Hello students, I hope you are all doing very well. Welcome to our program Disha. In Disha program, we are educating young students with events of national as well as international importance. In this program, we'll be dealing with current affairs as well as important static portion which will be very helpful for their future and the present understanding of the world to them. This will also be very helpful in their career building. All right. So the topic that we are going to deal with today is cloudburst in Arunachal. So Arunachal Pradesh, as you all know, is a state of India and it is located in the northeast, which we'll be reading about. We'll first see what is a cloudburst, what defines a cloudburst. Next, we'll talk about what are the reasons responsible for a cloudburst. Next, we'll see what is an orographic lift, which was the main factor responsible for this cloudburst in Arunachal Pradesh. Finally, we'll see some basic information about Arunachal state. All right, so let's begin with what defines a cloudburst. So you can see two things here. First of all, a cloud, and next thing is the burst. So when we say that a cloud has burst, what will come out? What should come out? There should be rain come out or rainfall coming out. This is also known as precipitation. Also known as precipitation. Okay, so what happens when there is a cloud burst? As you can see in the picture, a lot of rain, a lot of water or rainfall happens in a certain located region that leads to a flood-like situation. Okay, two factors are there. First, the rate of the rainfall is very high. Secondly, the quantity of the water falling is very high. So it happens and results in a flood-like situation. All right, so a cloudburst triggered several landslides and a flood-like situation in Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. So a cloudburst is an extreme amount of precipitation in a short period of time. Okay, so as I told you, time is less and rainfall is more. So this leads to, or this is known as a cloudburst. So it is usually located in a small area. It is characterized by rainfall rates exceeding 100 mm per hour. Okay, so what is 100 mm? 1 centimeter is equal to how many mm? 10 mm. So 10 centimeter of rain falling in 1 hour. Which means if you, let's say, put a bottle at a random place and let it fall for 1 hour, then it will fill till 10 centimeter. So that's a lot of water. Okay, and how it happens? Let's say the heat is a lot nowadays. It is the season of June, July. So there is a lot of heat and the vapor from the water is coming like this in the clouds. Okay, it goes like this in the clouds. Then clouds go further and reach this mountainous region and they rise because they are facing this barrier. Here they are facing this barrier. So what happened? They rise. And when they rise, they reach a point where they cool down. And when the water cools down, what happens? It falls like rain. Rainfall takes place. So I'll explain this process to you. Okay. Next, let us see the Arunachal Pradesh because this is the state and the region we are talking about. So we must be very clear that where is Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. So this is Arunachal Pradesh. It is located on the easternmost part of India. Easternmost part of India. You can see this is the easternmost state of the India. Okay. Now what other states we are seeing here? First of all, we are seeing Bhutan to the west. We are seeing Bhutan to the west. Then in the north, we see there's a long border with China. Very long border with China. And China sometimes mischievously says that Arunachal Pradesh belongs to us. Okay, it is doing certain activities which are not very good for us. Okay. Second thing, what we see here, there is a region here, disputed region. Doklam Plateau also is here. Okay, so these are some disputed regions which you can read about. Secondly, we see that Arunachal has one more boundary with other country here, Myanmar, in the east, or you can say east and southeast. Okay, which country is there? Myanmar. This is the same country which was known as Burma or Rangoon earlier. All right, so these are the country. Now Arunachal also has a border with adjoining state Nagaland, Assam, and is there any other state which Arunachal has border with? No. Okay. So other states which we can see, Sikkim is here. Okay. West Bengal and all is here. This is West Bengal. As you can see, very, very small portion comes still here. Okay. And then there is Bihar. Okay. So here is Assam. So now you know all the regional geography related to Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. What countries we see? Bhutan we see here. China we see here. Myanmar we see here. Then we see Nagaland as well as Assam. Okay, this is the capital of Arunachal Pradesh. It is known as Itanagar. Alright, so this is where the cloudburst took place. Okay, now let us see other things which are related to the lecture. Just a second. About the Arunachal Pradesh, let's see. Bordering countries. So Arunachal Pradesh share international border with 3 countries. China to the north, as we already see. China to the north. Then we see this side, east and southeast side, which Myanmar. And then we saw the Bhutan on the western side. Alright, and which are the bordering states? So within India, Arunachal Pradesh shares border with Assam to the south and Nagaland to the southeast. So we already saw that Arunachal comes like this and makes a small border with Nagaland here. And then with Assam here. Okay, and Itanagar is located here. Alright, what is the capital? Itanagar is the capital. And formation, so Arunachal Pradesh became a full-fledged state of India on February 20, 1987. So you can remember this date also, it's also important. Alright, now next, let's see next thing. So why cloudbursts take place? So they are often caused by convective processes in the atmosphere. That means warm, moist air rises rapidly, leading to the formation of heavy rain-bearing clouds. So what is convection? We need to see this thing first. Second, so when these clouds release their moisture suddenly, it results in a cloudburst. We already know what is a cloudburst. Alright, so this we know. This we need to see what is convection. And cloudbursts are more common in mountainous region due to the orographic lift. This is the third thing that we need to see. Okay, so let us see all these things. So first of all, let us see conduction. Okay, there are 3 modes of heat transfer. There is conduction, there is convection, and there is radiation. So when the sun rays come to earth, they are radiation. Okay, no contact. Contact is not there. Second, when the ground heats the air, this is known as conduction. That means direct contact is there. Okay, between the air and the ground. Now there, this air rises because it is lighter. So warm air rises. This is known as the convection. Okay. Next thing we need to see what is orographic lift, which is also a responsible factor for cloudburst. So orographic lift is a meteorological. Meteorological means weather related. Weather related phenomena. Phenomena means event. That occurs when an air mass is forced to ascend over a topographic barrier. Now what is this topographic? Okay, we'll see. Such as a mountain range. Now, as an air mass moves horizontally and encounters a mountain or a high terrain, it is forced to rise. Okay, let's see, the cloud is coming from here. A mountain comes, so what? It has no option other than to go over it. Alright. As the air ascends, it cools adiabatically. We also need to see what is this adiabatically. Without heat exchange with the environment. Okay. So when the rising air cools down to the dew point, now we need to see what is this dew point also. So many confusing terms. Okay, but I'll explain them all. So the water vapor in the air condense into cloud and precipitation happens. Precipitation, I already told you, rainfall. Okay, so let's see this. First of all, we need to see what is topography. So topography is the physical characteristic of an area of land, especially the position of rivers, mountain, etc. So however a country or a region is geographically, it is known as topographic. Okay, let's say there are many mountains here. Then the region is topography is mountainous. Okay, if there are rivers here, then topography is riverine. All right. Okay, so this is topography. Now, what is adiabatic exchange of air? Okay, let's see. We are all using coolers in summer. We are all using coolers in summer. So what happens in cooler? We fill water. We fill the water. Okay, and suddenly we are having nice cool air. So how this cool air is coming? So this is the honeycomb, let's say. Okay, and warm dry air comes from here, and cold humid air leaves here because of this water in the honeycomb, which the pump pumps. Okay, as you all know, pump pushes the water here. Then warm dry air comes from outside, and cold humid air goes inside the cooler, and then it throws the cooler via the fan on us, and we are feeling happy. Okay, so what happens? What is adiabatic exchange? That the air temperature is changed directly. Okay, air temperature is changed directly because of this water, and honeycomb is not getting warm or cool. Honeycomb is not getting warm or cool. So air can be cooled or heated without adding any heat energy. Okay, we have learned that this is called adiabatic process. Instead of the air being cooled or heated by adding or subtracting heat energy, its temperature changed by the volume of air expanding or compressing. Okay, so there is an ideal equation also. It is known as PV is equal to nRT. That means pressure and volume can decide the temperature. If you can, let's say, if you want to keep the temperature constant, then you can increase the pressure and reduce the volume, or you can decrease the pressure and increase the volume. Okay, so temperature can be constant without changing the heat energy. Okay, so this is known as adiabatic exchange. This you will learn in your 11th class into physics. Okay, but this happens when let's say cloud goes into the high mountains. So what is dew point? So dew point is the temperature which air is cooled to, where it becomes saturated with water vapor. Okay, so what we are seeing, air is getting cooled, that means temperature is reducing. Okay, now PV is equal to nRT. So let's keep nR constant. Now what is happening? Temperature is reducing. Okay, and pressure is same. So volume has to little bit increase. So what happens? That water vapor, instead of being water vapor, it becomes like, sorry, volume also has to decrease. So instead of water vapor, which is a gas, gas has more volume than liquid. So instead of becoming gas, it turns into liquid water. So now what will happen? The gas that was there in the cloud as in form of water vapor H2O, it will start raining. So this temperature is known as dew point, and this temperature is when water cools in the cloud. Okay, so here we can see the saturation, the vapor pressure, the temperature, the dew point. So as temperature keeps on increasing, the saturation of the cloud also increases, but at one point it reaches the dew point where it will eventually rain. Okay, this is what is causing humidity in the environment also right now. Okay, so now we can see here, this is the water cloud, moisturizing air. It goes upside because it comes across a mountain like this, and orographic lift happens. Orographic lift happens. Temperature goes down, it cools. When it cools, what happens? Water vapor turns into rain. That is why it rains. Okay, but now it has no water, so when it comes here, it has dry descending air. Okay, now if this happens very much, then it is known as a cloudburst. It is known as a cloudburst. Okay, lastly, this is the 3D map of Arunachal Pradesh. Here you can see many mountains. So these are the major reasons of such areas being susceptible to the cloudbursts. Okay, because there are mountains here, and we know orographic lift happens. Plus the temperature is very much, humidity is very high. Okay, so that's why the water quickly reaches its dew point, and the cloud bursts into a small area and creates flood-like situation. Alright, so this is Yatharth here. If you have any doubts, you can post in the comment section and ask me about the doubts. I'll be here to resolve them all. Thank you very much. Have a great day.